Hello there guys, and welcome back to my channel. I'm the Rogue Witcher. Thank you for joining me. In today's video we'll be talking more about From. Last week I did a video doing 3 theories and 3 predictions. This week I'm going to mix it up with 3 theories and 3 questions. 3 questions that are for you guys, and you know, because I need help answering them, and I thought it'd just be cool to pose some questions to get you guys thinking more as well. As we all know, From is just something we think about constantly, trying to piece the puzzle pieces together to fit the picture. But hey, I thought I'd mix it up this week. So I also want to thank everyone for watching. It did really well last week's video, a lot of new subscribers and comments, so thanks for support. If you can like the video, because likes are so important. Say you get 500 views and only 11 likes, YouTube don't push it, so if we can, just that'd be fantastic. No more waffling guys, we've got a lot to get into, a lot of theories and questions being posed. Let's get into it. Theory number 1. Was Boyd and Sarah in season 1 at the Lake of Tears? Now, the end of episode 2, if you haven't seen it, don't watch, go watch it and then come back. But the end of episode 2, if you have seen it, is that Jim, the ghost echo of Jim, we believe is Jim, tells Ethan that he needs to find the Lake of Tears. It ties into the very first episode when Ethan arrives into town, and they crash, and he has a vision. He has a vision of Victor's pictures, and as we've come to know, all of what Victor has drawn was real. He thought that they were just, you know, memories or dreams, but no, they're memories. So Ethan says about the spider, and then the Lake of Tears, if it's near. Now, as we know, when Boyd and Sarah was dragged by that thing, they come out in where all cobwebs are, not too far from the lighthouse. Now, lighthouses are usually by water, a lake. Why a Lake of Tears? The tears of the people that are trapped in the lighthouse, maybe? I don't know, it's just my theory, but I think Boyd and Sarah were there. The question is, why would the thing drag them there if he's evil? Why would he want them to go there? You know, we already know that in the past cycle, Tabitha, when she was Victor's mum, died trying to get there. There's obviously something there. I mean, she's climbed the lighthouse before and then got pushed home. So there's something about the lighthouse, the Lake of Tears. I think they're connected. That's my theory. The real question is, why were they taken there? Because surely whoever it was, wouldn't want to help them, or maybe they would. Theory number 1. Theory number 2 is a bit out there, but is the man in yellow Tabitha and Jade's child? Now, I know that's quite out there, but there's so much shroud and mystery of who and what the man in yellow is. One of my subscribers who commented, thank you, said, is he Loki, god of stories and mischief? And he, you know, because for me, and I think it's pretty clear, most people think, that each cycle is just the story repeating itself, the constants anyway. People come, they are reincarnated, he makes sure certain events unfold. Yes, the variables are different of how they interact and how they handle it and what they try to do, especially for the time, because obviously different town, different weapons over the centuries, different way of doing things. So those change, but the main core argument and the main story always sort of results in a similar to same way of them failing, trying to free the children from, I believe, the lighthouse and perishing. But what if the man in yellow is the son of Jade and Tabitha? Here's where I'm going with this. We know that they were offered immortality to give up their children. They didn't, but they didn't save their child either. So what if there is a more powerful entity than the man in yellow, and he offered him immortality? And it's sort of like this. The children, I'm not going to call them alive, but from the monsters, are used as a battery, if you will. A battery to sustain immortality, maybe for this being, but in order to make that person stronger, that thing stronger, they need constant sacrifice. It's a bit like how Pennywise every 27 years wakes up, eats, and that sustains him, and then he sleeps. Or if during the cycle people are brought to them being killed, sacrificed to a very powerful deity, and that makes them stronger. So what if they offered it to the man in yellow? Listen, I'll give you immortality, and I need you to run this show for me. And he came up with the story, a child, from a child's purview. I mean, look at it. Monsters come at night. There's wayward trees where you can transport everywhere. It's something very much like of a child. That's why Victor and Ethan connect to what goes on there so well. And also because if it's true, they're technically ancestors of the man in yellow if he was Jade and Tabitha's their first child. So what if over the years he repeats the same story but changes the variables for the time period he's in and stuff like that, but it's constant and it's from how it was of the mind of a child. Monsters, a magic lighthouse, apparently there's a giant spider roaming around, you know what I mean? It's a wild theory, but it's just what I'm throwing out there. Theory number 3, Jim is recruited by the boy in white. Now, we still don't know if the boy in white's good. I believe that he is. I really do. I'll come on to a question about him in a minute, but I believe he is good. And I think it's clear that there can be good and evil spirits. The kimono lady clearly was a bad spirit. So what if all the people in the town that die, their spirits linger? Who knows? The good ones, the bad ones. I believe Jim's been recruited in the boy in white to tell Ethan he needs to go to the Lake of Tears. Now, you could ask, why doesn't the boy in white just say exactly what you should do and what you should... This is who you should do, this is who you should avoid, and spill the beans? Maybe they can't. Maybe they're confined to the rules of the place and the story. I don't know. But I just think it's convenient that as soon as Jim perishes, he's then turned up in ghost form to speak to Ethan. Now, it might not be Jim, but I believe it is Jim. And I believe that Jim is trying to help Ethan uncover the story. We have Ethan trying to find the Lake of Tears. We have Julie story walking. I believe, obviously, we all know it's centered around this family, Tabitha reincarnated. I believe they're the key. And maybe you can't give them the whole answer, but only a piece of the puzzle. Who knows? But I believe Jim has indeed recruited Ethan. Been recruited by the boy in white to help, I'm guessing try and help free everyone. Why the boy in white wants everyone to go free? Is he one of the children? And he's the ghost of one of the ones that were lost in the very beginning and he's trying to fight back against the man in yellow? Perhaps. That's all 3 of my theories this week. Let's get on to questions. Why do the people who get seizures always get the visions? Now, Sarah gets the kill the boy, and maybe there's more to that. I'm thinking about that. I might put that in next week's video. But she has a seizure. Elgin has a seizure when he arrives in town because he sees bad things are going to happen. He ends up going on to see the kimono lady. Okay. Ethan has a seizure, then has a vision in the first episode, seeing all Victor's drawings. Okay. Julie, technically, it's not a vision, I suppose, per se, but when she goes story walking, she has a seizure. What is with them having... Everyone who has a seizure ends up sort of getting a peer view and a glimpse into things. And I just think that is really, really interesting. I also want to point something out that's a bit left field as well. Dreams, not just people have seizures. But I rewatched some of the early seasons, okay? And Tabitha had a dream. She was walking up the lighthouse, okay? She didn't know about the lighthouse yet. And Jim was hanging there. And then she woke up. Is it destined? Is it like, I know we say the script is all written, but it doesn't happen every single time. The last time she was reincarnated and she came, she didn't have a husband. So how do we know this time? Or is it that the man in yellow has just written it all out as soon as they've arrived? That's how Jim's going to end. And then he puts them into place and they don't realise they're following it to that end. I don't know, but that is just really interesting. The dreams, the visions of seizures, all of it. There's more to it, and I'm getting close on those. But yeah, dreams and seizures, sort of peering into the story, getting glimpses perhaps they shouldn't. What do you think? Why did Boyd survive in season 1? That night when he finds the talismans, he falls into a cave, right? There's no door. Yeah, there's a bit of like bush, but that's not a bloody door, okay? If in town you open your door, even though you've got a talisman on the wall, they will rip you to pieces, okay? You can't. So why is it that they just didn't walk through into the cave? There's no physical door. It was open. Is it because the talismans were all in the same place and together they're extremely more powerful? Think about this. I've been rewatching early seasons. Boyd says they used to shriek. They used to scream all night long. Now they whisper. Kenny says, have you noticed how they walk and they never run? Yet in the vision, when you see Victor's mum eat her end, Smiley runs and takes her out. Are they suppressing their powers? The talismans being spread out all over town. Is it, dampening them? They can't run, they can only walk, they can only whisper, they can't scream. I think there's something to that, I do. But why does Boyd survive? I believe he survives because they're all in one place. And maybe all put together can be even more powerful than divided. What do you think about that? Final question, is the boy in white good? Again, rewatching early seasons, somehow he knows the house is going to collapse in. He's not the man in yellow, we don't think. So how does he also know the story that's playing out? Is it because he's also obviously lived through, yes, he's been there through the cycles and sees how the story's going to go. But that doesn't mean every single time a house is going to collapse and fall there. You know, or there'd be tons of collapsed houses in throughout the town. So that's what I'm confused on. He tells Victor that Tabitha's going to be there in the early seasons and to wait for her. You know, he tells Sarah, you know, you need to go through the tree with Boyd to escape when they see the lighthouse and danger's coming, and you need to get out of here now. He pops up and he pushes her out of the lighthouse. Why? Is he good? I believe he's good. I'm just, you know, so obviously shrouded in mystery for a reason, but then there's other things that makes me think, why? You know? Also, just quickly on the end, the fact that we're talking about spirits a lot in this past episode, and I forgot that Sarah was technically contacted by Boyd's wife in season 1 when she says about the boat fit, or gives him the name of his army, his nickname. So I think there are good and bad spirits. I forgot, sorry, I meant to mention that earlier, but yeah, and she was being contacted by Sarah. So who's to say when Sarah was being contacted multiple times that some of them were bad and some of them were good, and she was confusing the two and being emotionally manipulated? Just something else I'm throwing out there. But is the boy in white good? You tell me. Everything else about what I've spoke about, tell me what you think, guys, about was it Boyd's wife who spoke to Sarah in season 1? What is going on with Jim? Is it Jim? Is it not Jim? Question all of it, because there's just, I mean, there's so much we could talk about. There's so many more questions you could ask every single week. It's like, for example, why in the monster cave do they have TVs on bikes and stuff? Why would they keep that stuff? That makes no sense. Things like that. Oh, my light has literally just gone out. Time to wrap up the episode. All right then, guys, that was the episode. Thank you for watching. Please do answer and comment all what you want about my theories and predictions and questions, all that stuff. I'd love to hear yours as well. Let's debate and discuss. If we can on the way out, like the video, really helps with the algorithm. And if you want to subscribe, I'd love to keep you trying to get to 500 ASAP. So yeah, thank you for the support as always, guys. I will see you next time. Thank you for watching. I've been the Rogue Witcher. Adios.